Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Small Business Virtual Town Hall. I'm Dan McKee, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Rhode Island, and today we're going to be talking again about small business issues. I got to just make sure that everybody, gets the word that we got to keep everybody healthy and safe, so let's follow the rules. That's why I do have my face mask here, and we need to make sure that we're doing that on a regular basis. So, our show today, we're going to be talking to our Small Business Coalition members. We're going to be talking to our Small Business Administration with Mark Haywood. And we're going to be bringing on some businesses today that have not been qualifying for the grants that we're, advocating for. And we're still advocating for put more dollars in and open up those grants to our small businesses in a way where it's simpler. We're seeing states that are putting a great deal of money in, far more than we are in the state of Rhode Island, and they're simplifying the application so more people qualify, and it's easier to actually qualify for the funds. And we know our small business community is in dire need of the funding, and so any way that we can get the dollars to them, as Mark Haywood from the SBA will be on as well today, and we've talked about the liquidity issue. It's critical. We need to get the money out on the street, and we need to, and we'll be following up on that small business loan strategy. Hopefully, we're going to be meeting with several banks to discuss, how we're going to put $1 billion out on the street in the next 18 months for our small business community. And finally, I do inject here on the education piece. We really need to think about, innovating in our education system. From March 2020 to March 2021, how many days are our students going to be in our schools? It doesn't matter if they're a private school, a public school, a charter school, a Merrill Academy. If they're going to another school outside the state, really, how many days out of the 182 days are they going to be in school? If they get to 100 days, I'll be actually shocked. So how are we going to make up those lost learning time? The way that I believe you can do it is establishing municipal education offices in every community in the state of Rhode Island. Like I did as a mayor of the town of Cumberland, we have a mayor's office of children, youth, and learning, and we work 52 weeks out of the year to help our students so that they can do better as they, in the schools. And we've seen a sharp increase in our outcomes in our public schools in Cumberland. We can do that around the whole state. Let's take some of the COVID-19 dollars that are there to help our students, overcome some of the obstacles that they're going to have. And again, I've said this before, it doesn't matter if you're high income, low income, moderate income, whether you're a minority family or a non-minority family. It doesn't matter what area of the state you live in. That education loss time is going to be critical to the futures of our the young men and women, the boys and girls that live in our state, and it's going to be critical to our economy. So we need to really start thinking about ways to support our schools, but also ways that we can supplement that lost learning time that is happening right now as we speak. So anyways, that's my school. We're going to talk about that every time that I'm on, because the more people who hear it, and again, I say, if you want to be involved in that conversation about the schools and about strategies that can empower municipalities to provide education 52 weeks out of the year to help supplement, and at this point in time, the loss of education that is happening in every community in the state of Rhode Island, give us a call, 222-2371. You can email us as well at our special email address that we've set up during the COVID-19 crisis here, ltgov20@gmail.com. Thank you, Ben, for putting that up. Let's move into the program. People are watching. Thank you so much for everybody that's watching out there. If you do have questions, let us know. I see Mark Haywood's coming in with his mask. That's good. Liz is going to be very happy to see that we put it on mask. I got Unity Wins on this one. On mine, Unity Wins. What do you got, Mark? What do you got there? Let me see. What do you got?
I got Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. I got Unity Wins.
Mickey Mouse.
I figured that all these small business issues I know that we represent all different types of people that are in the small businesses, and we leave our political signs at the door trying to help out these small businesses. What do you go? Oh my God, you got the Mickey Mouse thing going on there. That's a whole face mask. That's not just
So this one here says quarantine 2020, and then I have this one here. I have some new ones coming in, Governor, but they didn't get here for this week, but so I had to go back to the very first one that I started with, which is Mickey Mouse, and for those of you who know me, I'm kind of a Mickey Mouse kind of guy.
Yeah.
So,
well, I definitely like the Disney touch, and a lot of training goes on there in terms of how to give good service, and they are like the
absolutely
right. They're like the gold standard, right, in terms of
providing the gold
service.
Standard for customer services, and it's very important. And the governor knows that on my driver in my golf bag, I have
yes.
I have Grumpy. So that's really not me, but it's just indicative of kind of I keep this theme going. But yeah, it really is. Customer service is very important. So, Governor, today, I want to again say to anybody, if your credit has been hit by SBA and you think that you're a victim of fraud, please send an email to, and Ben, if you could put it up, Rhode Island _@sba.gov. Because we really do want to know if you've been a victim of fraud. I had great discussions last week after this session with the Rhode Island State Police, with the Financial Crimes Unit, and we're going to keep them advised as to things that we see and that I'm sending on to the Inspector General, who's sending them on to the U.S. Attorney. We just want to make sure that people who are victims of fraud, that we get that reported as quickly as possible. That's really what's really important there. On a separate note, as you can see, paper. A new rule dropped today.
Okay.
And the rule today is, and I know Bud McCann will love this one. Business loan program, temporary changes to the Paycheck Protection Program as it relates to the treatment of owners and forgiveness of certain non-payroll costs. And these are questions, Governor, that we get in the district office all the time. And one of the issues that has been raised is, and I would like to read it to you, that way we have everybody understands what it is, because I'm sure this situation is out there. Eligibility of certain non-payroll costs for loan forgiveness are amounts attributable to the business operation of a tenant or subtenant of the PPP borrower, or the context of a home-based business, household expenses eligible for forgiveness. And the answer is no. And the reason, let me give you the example that they gave. A borrower rents, could be you, could be me. We rent a building for $10,000 a month and then sublease out a portion of that particular space to another business for $2,500. What is eligible for forgiveness? Only $7,500, which is the space that you're actually occupying, not the space that's being occupied by the other person that you sub it out to. This rule, Governor, just came in this morning. It is up on the SBA website, and it's also on treasury.gov. So if you want to see the rule, it's not really complicated. It just clarifies some of those peripheral issues, Governor, that really talks about, can you ask for this or not ask for that? Now, having said that, I will tell you that a lot of people are not, and you don't need to rush to ask for forgiveness, because essentially all businesses have until October 2021 to ask for forgiveness. And the reason that I say this is that the Senate and the House is still out. The HEALS Act was still submitted by Senator McConnell. The PPP provisions were agreed to by both Democrats and Republicans. And the PPP, if that bill goes through, the PPP section of that says that those who have loans $150,000 or less would be automatically forgiven. That does not mean that you don't have to provide paperwork or information to the lender or to the agency, but forgiveness would take a different route than those who have over $150,000. The reason why I mention that, Governor, is 83% of all PPP loans in the state of Rhode Island are 150 or less.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's
think
pretty
that,
significant.
yeah, and that information about, don't be panicking if you haven't filed for forgiveness. There's not a method to file right now, right? I mean, that has
Well,
not been, or is there?
if you're over 200, if you're over 150,000, there is on the website, there is a method to file. So there is something there, but I can't say that that's not going to change.
Yes.
And that's why we need to exercise a little patience here. And I think patience will be well rewarded once we get into the end part of September. The administration, the Senate, Senator Rubio, Senator Collins, Senator Cardin, and Senator Shaheen have worked very hard on the provisions of the PPP. It would be an extension of PPP with additional money. Remember, when the program closed, we still had $134 billion still left in that pot. That money has not expired, although our authority to provide that money has.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of let's wait. And if you're in that position of 150,000 or less, Governor, just hang on just a little bit longer, and hopefully we'll have a resolution soon.
So Mark, is there a deadline, a drop dead date when they need to do that, or is that still open ended?
You're talking about the Congress?
No, the forgiveness, the information.
No, the forgiveness, you can file 10 months after the end of the calendar year, which is October of 2021. So you got plenty of time. So it's not an issue at this point in time.
Yeah. And then I got a note that the idle loans are activated or reactivated in some way. Could give us an update on that?
You can go in right now and you can basically apply for an idle loan if you have not got one. Remember, only one idle loan per business. It's up to $150,000 maximum. I don't make the rules. We just carry them out. And I know that there have been some concern that people were looking for more. But if you haven't applied for an idle loan, you want to, by all means, do so. There are still, the last time, I think, $178 billion in idle authority that's still there that has not been dispersed.
Okay. All right, Mark, thank you so much for being here. And you're going to be a busy office over the next several months, I'm sure. But It's very important, the things that you're providing. Ben, you have something for our friend?
I do.
Our friend here from the SBA?
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Good. I'm not going to let you retire, dude. So Pam says, SBA question, micro business who hasn't been selected for any grants, is there any forgiveness for the bridge loan?
So the bridge loan should really be something that individuals were looking at as they were getting a secondary loan. The bridge loan was a bridge to either a PPP or an idle. So the grants are grants, loans are loans. She's talking about, she mixed both of those in there, Ben, both grant and loan. So if she did get a bridge loan, which SBA still has available, to a PP, well, can't get PPP right now, but to an idle loan, you can do that. If she's talking about the grants for the state, I'm going to yield to the gentleman from Cumberland to probably have more information on that than I do. I will.
The pressure on, that's for sure.
Just with the Chambers of Commerce, very diligently to. Just to see if we can get some kind of, we are going to switch gears a little bit in the upcoming months, Governor, where we're going to intensify our counseling and training to the small business community, because we think that that's going to be a huge issue when we get to the end of September. And I had a restaurateur call me the other day and said, okay, I'm now at the end of September. I can't use my outside. I can only use 25% of my inside. What do I do?
Yep.
So we are concentrating, Governor, on how we get businesses through this next phase of COVID, and that's what we're looking at. I have to tell you, the Chambers of Commerce, the trade associations, Dale Venturini and her group, Dave Charette and his group at the Manufacturers Association, Melissa Travis, who I call the Energizer Bunny from the CPAs. We're all kind of working together just so that we can shape this and provide this technical assistance to the business community. We got to keep people up and running.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we're going to talk about today, Mark, is everybody who's supporting the small businesses, including your office. We just got to accelerate this grant process. It's going so slow, and we're not getting enough businesses into the mix. And the applications is relatively slow right now too, because I don't think that people really understand that it's available, or they think that they're not eligible. We
Yeah,
got to figure this out.
I'm not gonna comment on the specific grant program that they have, but I am going to say that this is a liquidity issue. Governor, you've heard me say this.
Yep.
God knows how many times. It is a liquidity issue. We got to continue to get liquidity into the small business community as quickly as we can. The more we do that, the better off we're going to be in the long term. So,
yep, there you go.
We're here to help.
Ben, you got anything else?
Just one. I don't know if this probably isn't a question for either of you, but Commerce isn't on today, so I'm gonna ask just in case. Any updates for grants for sole proprietors with no employees? What can they do?
Yeah, we
have the governor's question.
Yeah. I don't think that it's not there yet, but we're still going to be really working on that. And actually, we have a sole proprietor on at the tail end of the show that's going to tell us his story, where he was accepted, then he was rejected, he was accepted, and then he was rejected. So, yeah, we really need to make this happen, and I think that we can. I think that if we keep the message out as we're doing here, Mark, I think that can happen, and other states are doing it, and Vermont's up to $160 million on these grant programs. This is
I was just talking to my colleague, governor from New Hampshire. They're up to $350 million.
Yeah, we got to get at this thing, and I think that part of our role here is to make sure that we're out in certain center. I was talking to a council member in Middletown today. They're putting a resolution together that we've sent around the state that's going to be asking, for Rick Lombardi, who's down on the resolution, asking the governor to put another $75 million in, and allow the local communities actually to distribute these dollars. As a former mayor, I would be so anxious to get good qualified businesses in my community, the 10, 15,000 or more. Vermont actually has a threshold as much as 50,000 for these businesses. And they've actually revised it, Mark, that they're talking about a certain group that may even qualify for as much as 100,000. This money, like you said, the liquidity issue is so damn important. So we got to stay on it. So thanks, Mark, for being here. Hi, Matt. Oh, I'm glad you got the mask. We got Mickey Mouse leaving, and now we have the, a full bandito there. That's good. I like it. You're looking good. I got mine there. Liz is going to be so happy. Hey, you're a busy guy. We got some very important information, I think, that you want to share. So get right to it, Matt. Thank you so much for your here and your leadership. And again, a shout out to everybody at DLT for the extraordinary work that they're doing right now. I can't say that enough. So. And if I haven't said in the last couple of weeks, I want to repeat it again. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Governor. Everybody's trying really hard. I'm going to pivot from what I usually do in giving the claim stats. There's a lot of claims. There's your update on claims. Instead, what I want to talk about is just quickly, 98,242 people requested a payment last week. That's a better indicator right now of what kind of activity we have in unemployment. So almost 100,000 people requested a payment. Just over 100,000 were eligible to. So that shows you that there's still an awful lot of people that are relying on DLT to get the income support they need during this difficult time. Yes. People are going back to work. We are seeing some of the claim loads come down, which is good. But we need to keep working to get in contact with these people and provide the service they need. To do that, we worked with the administration and under the governor's leadership to increase the focus on our call center. And I just want to clear a couple of things up. I saw some emails where people said, well, I still have to call in more than once, or I have to wait when I get on the phone. Absolutely you do. There are, like I said, almost 100,000 people that got a payment last week. If any percentage of those people needs to talk to us, that's a lot of folks. And so while we have more people on the phones, almost everybody on the phones, there will still be a wait, and it will still give you a message that says try again. My suggestion, try again. Try multiple times. And I know it's working because I'm getting emails from people, some of them coming from your office, that say, thank you, but I already got through to somebody. And so that's great. So I think if you send an email to me or to DLT or fill out a web form, try calling the call center too. Because whichever way you can get through first is going to get your issue resolved, take you off the list. And thank you for putting that up, Ben and Cheyenne. That's the number, 415-6772. If you have questions for me that you think maybe you can't get through, I would send them into the ltgov20@gmail. And the governor's staff has been sending those right to me. And as often as I can, I get to look at those and try to resolve those issues. Let's talk quickly about the Lost Wages Assistance Program, which is the FEMA grant. Last week, we put the grant application in. We heard back pretty quickly from FEMA, cleared up a couple of issues with them, and then on Saturday, we were told we were approved. So they are moving very fast. We want to thank Rhode Island EMA and Director Pappas and his team and everyone that's helped us with this. We got that application in, and the way it's going to work is we are going to provide $300 bonus on top of unemployment payments back retroactively to August 1st and then going forward. Right now, the way that FEMA has it set up, because the funds are limited, is we are able to provide 3 weeks of payments. So yesterday at the press conference, the governor said that means $900. That is true if people were eligible and certified for those 3 weeks. So if you're on this session and you're a claimant who got paid for the weeks ending August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th, then you will get a retroactive payment for $900. There are a couple of little differences, and it is a big, complicated program like we've discussed. And to make it more complicated, it's coming out of FEMA and not the Department of Labor, who's our regular partner. So there are some things on our end that we have to do, Governor, to get the system all lined up to pay these payments. We're saying between 2 and 3 weeks to get it out the door. We're very much hoping it's 2 weeks, but it certainly won't come this week. So if people are calling in just to find out where their extra money is, you don't bother. We don't want you to waste your time. That money will come soon, and you will hear it from DLT. We'll shout it from the rooftops. We'll use this forum, which we've been fortunate enough to get into every week, and we'll tell you that it's ready. I think that's it from me, Governor. Happy to take questions.
Well, hope FEMA's doing well by you. Other than that, we'll have to call the director up.
He was very good to us.
Again, I'm sure he was, and I got his cell phone number here too. So, we're very fortunate to have Peter there, quite frankly, with his Rhode Island connection. You got something, Ben?
I have several things. Hey, Matt. So Diane says, I have three people I needed to furlough. How do I convert them from work share to full unemployment? What do I need to do? What do they need to do?
So the standard answer to that is when you submit your biweekly pay request on Workshare, which is something that the employer submits to DLT every 2 weeks, you would put it in that plan that those 3 people no longer work for you or are on furlough. However, if you want me to follow up directly with you, then please send an email to the LTGOV20 account, and they will contact me, and we'll work that out.
Thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Let's see. Does the $900 also apply to Workshare?
It applies to every unemployment program. So just like the $600 applied across the board, the $300 will apply across the board.
Thank you for all you do. I was unable to rectify PUA this week as suggested. Message received unable to find record for social security number. I submitted a contact form request online. So I would try to call the call center if I were that person at 415-6772. If somebody's getting a message that says that they cannot find their social security number in the system, there are a couple of reasons that could be true. If they worked for them before and it's not working now, there's a good chance their claim expired or they've used all the credits. Meaning it's like a bank account, and when you use that final payment, there's no more money to draw from. We then will auto enroll them onto an extension, but they're still going to get that message. So I would say keep trying to certify each week, and I bet by next week your claim will be, your account will get filled back up, and you'll be able to draw more money. Final question. People are asking any update about Cranston and the bus drivers.
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about Cranston bus drivers on this session anymore. Please know, Cranston bus drivers, I'm doing what I can to help you. The law says that you are not eligible to collect in the summer unless there are very specific reasons that you're out. I am working with your union leadership. I went all the way to the top, and now I'm working with your local leadership. I had 2 calls into that person today, back and forth. I promise you, we're doing everything we can to help you, but there's nothing else I can work through these sessions to try to make it move any quicker. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Governor.
And Matt, thank you for following up. Those are difficult things I know you're following up on, and sometimes people don't like the answer that they get, but the most important thing is that we're trying to get them the answer that they want. But if we are not able to do that, then we have to be honest with everybody, and that's the way it works. And then we may have to, find other other avenues, including the General Assembly potentially, based on what I'm hearing as well, they may have to take an action to help those people out. So we'll see what happens.
That's right,
Matt.
Kevin. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Yep.
Take care.
Is Liz with us? Oh my God, there's the mask. I got mine on too. I got Unity Wins right now. This is a kind of a message that a friend of mine is doing. Unity Wins, making sure we're all sticking together on this effort, Liz.
Very nice.
And I know that you appreciate people who are following the rules, and we got a unity going on in our state to kind of overcome this virus, but also to really support our small businesses in a way that they need right now. But Liz, give us an update, and thank you so much for being here today again. And thank you for all your hard work as well, and your whole department, the work that you're doing out and about. Thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. So this is a great mask. It covers
Yes.
the nose. It's one of these shaped ones. I find these to be my favorite. This is also a very light one on a very hot day. So it works out nicely on a hot day. It doesn't make you sweat too much. So
It's
I
a
just
fashion
wanted-
statement too. It's like a fashion statement too.
It's pretty colors, of course. So did you think anything else, that I wouldn't be fashionably?
No, I
correct?
know.
Couple things to go over. We're looking at some of the data. We're finding that some of the screening that's going on locally is getting a little more lax in the businesses. So we want to remind our businesses that how important it is to not have sick employees come to work. That is, what we're suspecting to be the number one reason for spread within a facility is that sick people are coming to work. So if somebody doesn't feel good, don't take any chances. Have them stay home. Have them get tested if they're having a high fever and any kind of the other symptoms, but do not let them come to work and increase the likelihood that your entire staff, or at least a portion of your staff, will get sick. So I wanted to talk about that real quick. Also want to talk about school inspections. So the DBR task force, the COVID task force, will be doing inspections on schools all of next week. That's all being worked out right now, but I figured I would let everyone know that all the public schools across the state will be getting inspected next week. And then the last thing I want to chat about was the governor is really pushing an initiative, the Take It Outside campaign. So we're trying to really get the businesses and the municipalities to work together to see what options are available for all kinds of businesses to take it outside. So whether it be dining or retail or meetings for businesses or whatever it is that you do, trying to take it outside. We are working with the municipalities. They've been great partners in this to try to think of options. Are there places where you can go? If a sidewalk's not an option for you, is there a park? How can you take as much as you possibly can outside for as long as you possibly can? We want our businesses to survive and thrive for as long as they possibly can. So if you have any questions for it, if you are anticipating some kind of a roadblock, whether it be a municipal or state permit license, something that you need, costs, we are trying to get a sense of what the cost would be, whether it be for your insurance or for tenting or for heating. We're just trying to get a sense of what the barriers would be to a business and why they wouldn't opt to take advantage of the Take It Outside campaign. So if you have any of those informations, you can feel free to connect them with me or through the Lieutenant Governor's office, and we'd love to make sure we consider them as we're trying to do this across the entire state. So that's what I had for today, Lieutenant Governor.
So Liz, I know that you're the attorney, and you never ask a question that you don't know the answer to, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. So, we're a state that really celebrates the fall season. We're coming up to the fall season with many outside events that support our small businesses. How does that fit into the Take It Outside program? Has there been some thought about how to engineer, or even you're going to have some communities who don't even have certain types of apple blossom festivals like that Johnston has and other places in the state, but they may want to manufacture if in fact they are able to take it outside and help their small businesses. So has there been any thought on that?
Well, I can certainly talk about street closures. That's one thing that is more festival-like. So if a business, if a municipality can close a street, there's a higher likelihood you can have the businesses out. And it doesn't have to be for, 24 hours a day kind of thing. It could be just on weekends or certain times. But, you want people outside so there's more customer confidence, which I love to talk about, right? We want customers to feel like they're safe when they go shopping. So if you have an open street and you can walk down the street and do your shopping and your eating, or you can have your meetings outside or your yoga class outside, you're feeling a lot more confident and feeling safe that you're going to want to take advantage of that and spend your dollars in a local way. So So I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but that's what
Well,
we're aiming to do.
I know that there's a number of fall festivals that happen at small businesses, whether it's, I'm not going to name the communities, but they're on, municipal land that they, do art shows, and they do, they sell things. Small businesses sell things at these facilities. Does that fit into the mold of this take it outside strategy?
So the municipal events are all being approved by the they're being approved by municipalities. So we're not really involved too much with that. There's always a concern about having too many people in one space. And that's why the idea of having the store set up so that it's more like a store situation makes it a little bit better. So I'm actually not privy to too many events that are happening. Because they do have size limitations, but it's something that we're working on.
Yeah, and I, as a former municipal leader, as you're telling this creative idea that the governor is, talking about, I certainly would be trying to pool my small businesses right now, and even try to find a spot, like you say, one of our parks or one of that type of thing that can accommodate those type of sales, so that we keep on focusing on our small businesses. So if municipalities wanted to do that, are you saying that they have the ability to kind of make that happen locally, or do they work with your office to make that happen?
So they were really great. Every single municipality looked into this at the beginning of the summer to see what they could do, particularly for outdoor dining. But it gets hot in the summer, right? So, we're really looking at some beautiful weather now for the next couple of months. So we'd really like to try to emphasize that and sort of reinvigorate what the municipalities have already done. But I would also encourage the chambers and the merchants associations. They're the ones who have the membership of the small retail stores to really push their members to get outside, to be creative. Think of ideas where they could work together, doing special events, things like that. So, it's a real chance to collaborate and work together, and that the municipalities have been super supportive. And again, that's why I'm asking for any potential roadblocks, because we want to get rid of them as fast as we can.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And you and I have been in competition on the 39 tours of 39 cities and towns.
You beat me. I won.
And we know that, on those tours, there's many main streets, that are in our state. And boy, they brought all that outside, as you're talking about, and closed down their street. That's going to create energy. That's going to really highlight our small businesses, and that's what we want. So I'd encourage the municipal leaders to really be thinking creatively. We got at least 4, 8. We almost have 10 weeks of good weather right now, and that's a long time for these small businesses right now to help them out. So it's a great idea, and let's try to support it, Liz.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do it. Our office is there, ready to. Actually, I'm going to go back on the road again. Finish our art tour. I think that, put the masks on, and we'll meet them outside. We're going to do the outside meetings. I think I'll tie you in, and we'll do an outside meeting, to build in on the governor's plan and your plan in your office to take it outside. So we'll do all those tours, and we'll do a take it outside tour. We're going to finish our art tour in the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to start another.
Meet them outside. That's a great idea.
We're going to meet them outside. Thank you so much for the idea.
You said it. It was great.
Yeah, we'll hijack it. Thanks a lot, Liz. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week. Yeah, Ben. So I think that we're good to bring on our core group with Chris. If he's all by himself, he's running solo today. But where's my 3 amigos? But we know that Justin's out there working, putting up a lot of his signage, and we know that Laurie is as well. But we appreciate you taking the time to just give us an update. You had the weekly call, and you're going to hear from some small businesses, Chris, at the tail end of this program, that we brought on 3 or 4 businesses that don't qualify for the grants, and they're really scratching their head why. But so give us just a little overview of what the coalition is doing, and what the short and long term plans are right now for the coalition.
Sure, thank you. So with the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition, we're continuing to have our weekly calls every Monday at 11 a.m. So if you'd like to be part of that, please email info@rismallbusiness.org. We'll add you to our recurring calendar invite, and you can hop on the Zoom to at least listen, share your thoughts, and get engaged with the coalition. So we urge everyone to email us, let us know, and be a part of it. One of the things that recently came out of the coalition call is to do our second survey. So we did an original survey around the time of the petition and generated a lot of data and insights from our coalition members that we utilized. So this time we're going to do another survey centered around the Restore RI grant program and want to get everyone's feedback. Number one, were you even eligible? Did you even apply? What was the process like? Did you feel it was difficult, not so difficult? Did you feel it was enough? What are some suggestions that you have? We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. So the survey is finalized. We're going to send out an email to all of our thousands of coalition members. So if you did not register to join the coalition,
Yes.
please do so right away. So you simply just go to www.rismallbusiness.org and click the Join the Coalition button. Ben is on top of his game today. So click that button, that Join the Coalition button. That will put you into our database so that when we send out the email blast, which is going to be scheduled for tomorrow, so we'll give folks some time today to register, you'll get that email with the survey link and fill it out so that we can better hear from you. Nancy, who I believe is on the program.
Yeah, yes.
She's double duty right now. So yeah, Nancy, that is one suggestion. You know, is there a possibility that we can do it in the evening? Something I talked to Lieutenant Governor and something that we can explore to ensure that we can be as inclusive because, you know, we're all working. You know, we have businesses to run as well. You know, it's difficult. So that's certainly something that we'll explore, Nancy. But again, register, join the coalition. If you haven't, get the email, you'll get the survey out, and that'll also help with our next steps, right? So we're hearing a lot from sole proprietors that they were not included, obviously, in this original Restore RI grant program. We heard from Commerce why they weren't. We won't put words in their mouth. Fortunately, they're not here to, you know, speak on their behalf. But we feel that the sole proprietors should be included as well. So we're going to put another effort together and rally behind an effort to be more inclusive of all small businesses, whether your industry is eligible or not, whether you're a sole proprietor or not. You know, this is something that we need to help kickstart our economy, keep it going, and help the small businesses that make such a critical component of our economy, of our livelihood that affects all Rhode Islanders. So that's something that with the Lieutenant Governor's office, the coalition will be ramping up to put another effort to rally behind to push and help out all small businesses.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for that. And I was down at Tyler Young's Young Family Farm this weekend, and he was asking the same thing. He said, "I'd love to get on the call, but I'm out, caring to my crops and my potatoes, and as farmers are. And by the way, some of the farmers, if not all the farmers, are not eligible for this grant program as well. So we got to keep that going. So, I think another time of the day would make a lot of sense to keep on people together. Maybe every other week. Maybe we do a day and then an evening. You know, just do it every other week. Good. And the calls are short. And we asked the small businesses to go on there. I had calls yesterday with manufacturers, and I asked them to get on the line and register, because it's very important to keep that alive, keep people very involved, and what you're doing with Lori and Justin and others is so important. So thank you for doing that. I would just say that we need to make sure that the voices are heard. And I'll go back to one of my original lines, several weeks ago. Our office is there to help. We're out. We want to get in the fight, but we can't do it alone. You need to support me so I can support you. And that's what Chris and the coalition is doing in a remarkable way. So let's keep the effort going, and let's keep the work moving ahead to help support our small businesses. And I've been on those calls, and I know there's a lot of really good ideas, a lot of energy there, Chris, to try to really make Rhode Island a small business friendly state that we all want it to be. I want to spend maybe 2 minutes. We haven't had a broadcast since the Lieutenant Governor's Entrepreneur Challenge, and you were a judge on that. I'll just give the quick overview, 30-second overview. Our office has done the Shark Tank type of strategy, Lieutenant Governor Entrepreneur Challenge, and we have small businesses and the credit unions in the state of Rhode Island that are supporting that with scholarship money. And we had the virtual broadcast. And I can tell you that we broke our records in terms of reaches, a number of views, number of comments. That was a real positive experience, Chris. Just give your thoughts on that and what your takeaways.
In one sentence, the future is bright. I mean, I got to tell you, Governor, those young high school students blew me away. All 5 or 4 of them, you know, we declared who won, who didn't, but they were honestly all winners because they took the effort. It's not easy. It's scary to go behind, to present to judges, present to the lieutenant governor, but they all did it, and they did a great job. And it was really impressive. It gave me a lot of hope for our future. Not only is this young generation mature, passionate, and driven, they're also business friendly as well, and thinking about profits and losses and how can I distribute my product and what's my competitive advantage. I mean, all of them were great, from figuring out how to differentiate yourself as other bakeries, to coming up with new solutions to help out the older generation, the grandparents, with the modern technology to connect them and keep them sane and happy. I mean, they're all great ideas with great presentations, and I just can't wait to see this next generation come up, support, and elevate them as we continue to make our state a great small business friendly state.
Yeah, that's part of it. And of course, Andrea Pelagi in our office was remarkable in terms of the leadership she provided to do our first virtual. This is our 3rd time we've done it, but it's our first virtual. And the platform has really accelerated the amount of people who have seen it. They still can go to our website, or go to Shared. You can see the program. And we are getting inquiries. We expect that Dan York's State of Mind program, which you've been on for the TV, is going to take a couple of our students that were champions to really profile them. So we have this great opportunity again, Chris, because of the work that was done by our office and you and Millennial Rhode Island, which you are a board member of. We have this great opportunity right now to really show the small business community that we care about them. We can really raise the small business friendliness. That messaging, not only was it really good for the high school students, but it was good for us as a coalition of small businesses to say, hey, we're supporting the very youngest in our state, but we're also supporting everybody that's in small business in our state. So we got this great opportunity, and thank you so much for your leadership on it.
Of course. And again, great job to Andrea. She was the virtual MC, and she did a great job managing everything. Obviously, Ben in the background, and Christine and Jennifer as the fellow judges, as well as the sponsors. It was a team effort, but the students, they're the ones that stood out. And thank you for your leadership in launching this program, Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, and the sponsorships with the credit unions and Dr. Daycare, which we're going to have one of the daycare, executives in terms of like the association on very shortly. But they're all interacting, and it all comes together in a way that really connects. And that entrepreneur challenge, I would just say, if there's any small businesses out there that would like to participate as sponsors for next year's, event, we're going to have it again, and we've had some great coverage on it. So, or if you want to be a judge, or you have some other ideas how to enhance that, in terms of the working with our young students and a mentorship program that we couldn't get off the ground this year, Chris, because of the COVID, but we actually have raised a little bit of dollars to put a mentorship program and a curriculum piece in the Boys and Girls Clubs in Rhode Island, and hopefully we're going to get to that next year. But at least we got that. We awarded those scholars and those students with some substantial, and I'll just pique your interest. We had a freshman, right, from the med school that was the number 1 student, and a $5,000 scholarship is waiting for that student when they finish their first semester of college a few years from now. So thanks for participating, and we'll keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris. All right, let's bring our small businesses on. We got a good, 15 minutes, so it's going to be great. And Renee, you made it. That's great, Renee. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi, and Bud's here, and Frank as well. So I think
Hey
that's what we
guys,
got.
sorry, Lieutenant. I just
No,
want to say
and
to everybody, if you could mute yourselves when you're not talking, that would be great. Thank you
yes,
so much.
we're getting a little interference there.
And Nancy made it
Yeah,
as well.
and I knew Nancy was here as well. So I think this finalizes our panel of small businesses, and the theme is kind of about the grants and how certain industries, certain businesses who need the money are not qualifying for the grants. And I've spoken to everybody here except for Frank, but I know our office has spoken to you as well. And I'd like to, we got a good amount of time here, which is going to be good. But I'd like to have, I'll go with Nancy to Bud, and then first we'll go to Renee, and then to Bud, and then Nancy, and then to Frank. And we'll be able to go around twice. But give us a little overview of your business and why the grants, you're not, qualifying for the grants, and how that's impacting you. So Renee, we'll start with you. We had a nice conversation yesterday on the phone. Thank you so much for that, taking the time. Unmute yourself and introduce yourself and your business and your manufacturing business. And thank you so much for being here.
Hi, I'm Renee Curran, and I'm the Vice President at R&I Machine. We're located in North Smithfield, Rhode Island. The reason we weren't able to get the grant was that the period that from April of 2019 and in comparison to April of 2020, our backlog was still pretty full. So therefore, we didn't fall into that loss of 30% of sales. It was after that period that we started to see how the COVID was affecting our industry. A lot of our customers, their sales going down and putting orders on hold. And so it's pretty much, we just laid off 5 people. So it's now going forward where we're starting to see the effect.
Yeah, and that's about 30% of your workforce, right, Renee? 5 people. You mentioned that you have about 17
Yes.
Staff members. That's really critical, not only to your business, but also for the, for the people who are getting laid off. So, just so it's, make it very clear, what you had some level of business in the spring, but because of the COVID, it really has substantially reduced during the time frame that we're going through right now. But the grants were based on your production in the spring, and it's not considering the fact that you are significantly reduced today. And I believe
Correct.
your company needed to be at about a 50% loss of revenue, not 30,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, correct.
So we're saying that's way too high. And what we're doing, Renee, is we're saying to, we're preparing a communication to the governor and to Commerce about these stories. And thank you so much for being here today, because your story is right on, spot on, for businesses around the state of Rhode Island that need the help and are not getting the help.
And thank you. Thank you for everything you all are doing.
Yeah, well, we're going to keep going. And yes, so thanks, Renee. Bud, give us a little overview of your business, the printing business, and the impact that you've had. And I know that you've had a lot of help, and let's talk about some of the positive things that your business has been helped with. But the issue of the grant strategy too, I really want to focus on that.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. So my company's called Allegra, and we're a commercial printer located in Providence. And our industry has been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. A few of the reasons why is a primary application that customers use printing is for their marketing purposes, and marketing is one of the first budgets that get cut. And of course, the same thing that's happened to everyone else, our customers were closed and weren't buying any printing at all. Although I'm very appreciative that the state had created a grant for small businesses, very concerned on how it was implemented. Specifically, businesses that were allowed to be open were not categorized as severely affected, and this allowed them not to be eligible for the business grant. You needed to be down at least 30% if you were severely affected, having been closed, but you had to be down at least 50% if you were allowed to be open. My business was down in the 30% range, Therefore, I was not eligible. I understand the need to demonstrate your business has been affected, but 30% down is 30% down, and it's very significant whether or not you were allowed to be open or not. Furthermore, I suggest that a business that was allowed to be open and was down 30% actually made less money because we had higher expenses. If we were closed, we would have kept our electricity off, we would have kept the heat very low, and we wouldn't have had personnel expenses. But in order to create that 30% during the time that the other businesses were closed, we had to pay electricity, we had to pay heat, we had to pay payroll. So I don't have an issue with having to maintain and demonstrate that our business was affected with the revenue results, but I'm requesting that the state change the guidelines of treating businesses that were closed versus open differently. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bud. And you know, I think you shared with me that you were close to 40% lost revenue, but you had to, just like Renee, you had to get to the 50%, right? So, and I think that we have the opportunity. You heard Chris Parisi earlier, our small business coalition, which we have, you know, a couple thousand right now of businesses, and they're being impacted every single day. I can share with you that we've had, and I'll be meeting with someone tomorrow or later today. I have a call with somebody who's familiar with the Vermont program, and they've put out $160 million. We got 50 million. We've asked for 125 million. They put out $160 million, and they have thresholds that allow businesses to qualify up to 50,000, and under other circumstances as much as 100,000. So we need to get this out to as many businesses as possible, and it gives me an opportunity to voice my concerns about the speed. Thank you, Senator Palmer, for being here. The speed that this is going out, not only the restrictive nature of who can qualify, but the speed is very important, and also the distribution of the dollars. There's no real metric in here that I know that all 39 cities and towns got a fair share of the dollars for the small businesses in that community. That's why I think that you appropriate the dollars, you let the municipal leaders decide whether they can help distribute the funds through their municipal leadership, and do it on a percentage basis on population or some other metric that creates an equitable distribution of the dollars. Increase the dollars, make it easier, get more people to be able to qualify, and then distribute it across the state so all 39 cities and towns get a fair share of the dollars. That's what we'll be working on. But your voice today, Renee and Bud, very, very important, because we have thousands of people that'll watch this, and I can tell you that leadership, and Senator Palmer's in leadership in the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised if Rep. Phillips is listening in right now from Woonsocket, Cumberland area. Our reps and senators are listening, and we're going to need their support, to make sure this happens. Nancy, please come on. And by the way, you had quite an outfit on the other day when I was down in Jamestown, celebrating the 100-year, of a women's vote and the Constitution 19, the Amendment 19. What a great event you had down there. Share a little bit about that. We have time, and then let's get into the yes.
Thank you. Oh, the event you mean? Oh, thank you for coming. It was so nice to see you and Cheyenne and meet your wife. I really appreciate it. It was a great event. We had had over 200 people come through. It was a 7-hour event, so we purposely did it that way so that people would come through a little bit at a time. And we had yourself, we had the Attorney General, Peter Nerona, Nellie Gorbea, Senator Whitehouse, Senator Reed. I know I'm forgetting somebody, but anyway, it was a great event.
David Cicilline was there as well. Yes. So,
oh, that's right. I knew I was forgetting somebody. I had my picture taken with everybody. I was so, and it made the paper.
Yeah.
But thank you.
It was a great event. But besides Nancy owning a business, she's also a member of the Jamestown Town Council, so she stays busy with a lot of the things locally. But you're plugged in, Nancy, and so that, and also you head up and you chair, or you're the executive of the daycare facilities, right, in the state.
President of the Business Owners and Child Care Association of Rhode Island.
Share your story, based the same way that Renee and Bud shared theirs.
Absolutely, thank you for the opportunity. So as most of you know, childcare, many of us were closed for 3 months. We couldn't open a little bit. We couldn't change our business model. We just had to stay closed. So that was a huge hardship for a lot of us. I'm representing the daycare owners here today, but I'm one of the fortunate ones. I received the PPP money. I was in the second round, but some of my colleagues received it in the first round. They had to spend all that money within 8 weeks, and they still weren't open. So it wasn't that beneficial to them. It didn't help their business. But I think the reason I'm here today is to try to explain what's going on with my industry and how it's affected with the not being able to get some of the grants. So basically, there's a child care provider relief fund grant out there that I believe Stefan Pryor mentioned a couple of broadcasts ago, Lieutenant Governor. And I appreciate you sticking up for us, so to speak. So we are not eligible. Child care providers are not eligible under the Restore Rhode Island Small Business Grant. We're one of the industries that's not eligible. I don't understand why, but I do know that. So Mr. Pryor said on your broadcast that it was because that we were given money under the Child Care Provider Relief Fund grant, which was the $5 million that the governor had set aside. So I'm here today to let you know that Child Care Provider Relief Fund grant was very selective, and not everybody was eligible for it. So there are a lot of childcare providers out there that have either closed already or that are on the verge of closing, and I mean for good. And we can just imagine what that's going to do to our economy if we can't open up businesses because we don't have childcare. So I just wanted to let you know that, again, not all of my colleagues are going to get any help. PPE, and as an EMT, I should know how to say that. PPE, the cost of the PPE that we need to run our program safely has doubled and sometimes tripled in cost. So not only is our enrollment down, our income is greatly reduced. I'm still running with half of my children. Yeah. But now we're paying more for the things that we absolutely need. And not to mention, I'm still struggling to get help. No one wants to work with little children nowadays. I don't know why. But anyway, so
yes.
That's my big message.
And Nancy, yeah, again, every industry is important. You know, we've got manufacturers here. We got, Frank's a sole proprietor, and he's going to talk. But our economy is going to depend on parents having a place where their kids could be safely taken care of. Inside of the schools, outside of the schools, and so you're a critical. So I'm just having a tough time understanding why daycares were not included in the grant program. And we also, I think there's hope out there because as Diane mentioned from the travel agencies, representing the travel agency, they were not qualified, would not qualify, but now they do. So we know that this program can be revised. It's not carved in stone, and it can be revised. So we should, continue to put out where common sense should prevail, and daycare facilities should be able to qualify just as a manufacturer who's lost 30-40% of their business. Thank you for being here today, and we're going to keep on making our voice heard. And the only way that it can be heard, again, I'm going to reemphasize like I did with Chris, is to have the small businesses come on and voice their opinion. So thank you for doing that, Nancy.
Well, thank you. And thank you for your continued support, Lieutenant Governor. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to, one program after another. And it was certainly a loan program that I'm going to be talking about down the line, too, that we need to really be aggressively working on to help save our small businesses. Frank, please give us a little introduction and give us a little bit of your overview on the grant program, how you're in and then you're out, and then you're in and then you're out. Give us an overview of what you do as a sole proprietor. You're representing thousands of people who have not been allowed to qualify, yet they have overhead, they have expenses, they have rent, they have insurances to pay. They have their health insurance to pay. They all, anyways, Frank, you're the man today representing, but tell us your story because I think it'll resonate with thousands of people out there in the state of Rhode Island.
Well, thank you for having me, Lieutenant Governor. My name is Frank Luca from One-on-One Basketball, Rhode Island. We do after-school programs in elementary and middle schools across the state, including the town of Cumberland, and I'm in almost every elementary school there, of course, before COVID hit. When I'm in a position, maybe like childcare, when March 16th hit, my business was shut off just like a faucet, completely done. I was not able to do anything through up until July. And the first of all, also, Lieutenant Governor, this is the first chance I've had to say to you publicly. I've been on these webinars. First, it was twice a week and once a week, and I really appreciate you not only being an advocate for us, but like really fighting tooth and nail for us. And I was able to tell that to Shay because I've been talking with her. And by the way, she's a wonderful resource to have. I can't tell you how helpful she's been through this entire process. And then speaking with Tony yesterday, I was able to express my thanks to him. But getting to the meat and potatoes of this thing, I have to tell you, I'm not even a sole proprietor. I am listed as an S Corp. Okay, I did all my due diligence, uploaded all the documents. My wife and I took care of everything, spoke to my accountant twice, made sure all the correct paperwork was done, sent it all in. And then the gentleman from CRF USA told me that, first of all, there was an issue with my code, the NAICS code that I put in that listed me as not being severely impacted. Now, I run my own business, but I don't claim to be an expert in math. But when you go from making money in 2019, that second quarter, and making $0, zero in this past quarter, how am I not severely impacted? So that gentleman told me that because I was not severely impacted, he said it was to do with the code. I said, well, I had the correct code. So he said, there's an issue with your code. So I went in, found another code, put that in that was still pretty close because he told me he could tell that they were having some issues with it. So I changed the code and he put it in for me, and he said I was denied. And this is what they said, that your application was reviewed, and unfortunately, your business is not eligible for Restore Rhode Island grant based on it being a sole proprietorship with no current employees. I put your application on hold. Well, Lieutenant Governor, I'm not a sole proprietor. I'm an S Corp. And when it comes time for during the year to be listed as an S Corp, they can take the taxes from me. I can pay taxes then, unemployment, so on and so forth. But when it comes time to get applied for this, to apply for this grant and get accepted, now they list me as a sole proprietor. I don't understand it. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right. So that's
So Frank, and that's why we asked you to come on today, because you represent, literally thousands of businesses that have the overhead, rely on the income that they generate. The state relies on that income that you generate as a sole proprietor. The municipalities, as a former mayor of the town of Cumberland, I know that our budgets are severely impacted when the economy hits our small businesses. So that's why we're here today, is to really allow you, provide you the opportunity to tell your story and share that with the other business owners here. We're going to continue to work on this issue, and I think we still have a couple more minutes. If anybody has anything they want to weigh in on, other than that, But I'll also say I got a warm spot in my heart for basketball. So I did I played. I was good, not great, but I played, and but I coached, and I'm not. I can tell you right now, basketball is a great learning experience, as a lot of our sports are. They might not be considered like these priority businesses in the state, but when we're working with young people, I consider it a priority business. And, I was able to coach an AAU basketball program, won a couple state championships, went to 4 national tournaments, played at the final tournament of the top AAU basketball tournament in the country down at UNC and Duke and North Carolina State. And I can tell you right now, if I didn't have that experience of coaching between the lines, I wouldn't be lieutenant governor right now. So these are life experiences, and we need to really take a look at them as being important. And as we've said before, there's an effort to start a hashtag, my small business is no sideshow. And I encourage the businesses out there that if you feel that way and you're being overlooked, well, our small businesses are not sideshows. They provide income. They provide services. They provide, with both Nancy and Frank, they provide healthy activities with young people that is providing them with leadership skills and learning skills as our daycares are, our early learning centers, our learning centers. And so we need to really gather together and make sure that we're advocating for our small businesses in a way that we are doing right now in our office, but we can't do it without your help. So thanks everybody for being here today. I don't know whether anybody wants to weigh in anything else that's on your mind. If not, we're going to keep this discussion going. And don't be surprised if the four of you receive some sort of calls from the media, because what you just said is so important, and we need to get the messages out. So we'll be distributing this through our media outlets. I would suggest you do the same in yours and get your story out. Somebody who's impacted by 30-40% of revenue, like Bud's was, they should be getting these dollars. Renee, the same way. Just because her business kind of was able to kind of skid along, right, for a period of time, but now she's getting to a screeching halt. Her business should qualify. Nancy's business should qualify. And our sole proprietors, I think it's just shameful that we're not treating Frank and these other businesses that are being classified as sole proprietors in a different way. We have this extraordinary opportunity to show our small business that we care about them. And it's critical that we do. So thank you all for being here today. We'll keep the conversation going.
Thank you for your
Thank
time,
you.
Lieutenant.
Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of my closing remarks. So I'll talk about in 30 seconds on the education. We need to think about our education of our young people in the state differently right now. There's a huge amount of learning time that is being lost, and we need to be creative about how to fill the gap. That whole responsibility can't be put right on the shoulders of our schools. They're not going to operate the same way over the next several months as they haven't operated, over the past several months. We need to fill that gap. One of the ideas that I think we should be floating out there is empower our municipal leaders with education offices like I did in the town of Cumberland. And we are a 52-week a year. We've been running pre-K in our town for 13 years, and our school department is getting the benefit of that. As our students are too. So that's one thing on the education on the small business issue. We cannot let these small businesses down. Other states are providing a great deal more money than we are, and they're getting it out a lot faster, and they're simplifying the application. We need to continue to work on that program, taking a look at the things that are going well, because we know that some businesses are receiving help, and we thank Commerce for that help. But we really need to be very sharp in our thinking in terms of how to improve that, get more money out, layer another $75 million in, and open it up to thousands of businesses in the state in a very quick way, and proportionately distribute those dollars to our community. So every community, I don't care whether you're on Main Street in Westerly, Main Street in Providence or Cumberland or wherever it is, every community should be getting that share of those dollars. Every community relies on small businesses to do well, to make sure that they can provide the services that our communities need, whether it's in public safety, whether it's in schools, whether it's in trash collection or snow. Heck, I'm bringing back my mayor's hat again. I know it well. We need to support these small businesses, and we can do better. And hopefully we're going to have the opportunity to have that discussion to help these small businesses that you heard from today. Everybody be safe, follow the rules, wear your mask. Remember, unity wins. Unity wins. We got to stick together, and we'll make it through this, but we need to really be advocating hard for our economy and our public safety and our schools right now. Very critical. Everybody enjoy your day.